in studio.
Of course, always nice to be in here, and like Chris mentioned, the midges, man, they are all over the place.
That's kind of like the storyline today of everybody that's come through here. We've got a good cast of characters kind of all throughout the terminal. Our office is packed today, and the midges are the big
These back windows,
line.
we're looking at them right now, and all you see are just midges scattered across the back here. So they are here. It's not playoff time for the Guardians, so it's a little bit earlier than they normally show up here in the spring, but they are here in force.
Well, Noah, the big story that everybody's going to be talking about this week and then next week and the week following that, and pretty much up until training camp through the preseason. Ad nauseum is going to be the quarterback position and the four guys in that battle, and Deshaun Watson, who wants to play at some point too.
Depending upon which beat reporter you're talking to.
What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, it's certainly going to be a competition, right? There's going to be guys just getting reps, and of course, every single day there's going to be something that comes up where, oh, so-and-so stood out today, and so-and-so got the first reps. But Kevin Stefanski's been pretty adamant about not taking anything like that too deep. All the guys are just going to get reps. He just wants these rookies especially to just get out there, throw the ball, go with these receivers. But it's going to be the storyline, of course, like the quarterback position, especially in Cleveland, being with the two rookies there, the vets, and then Deshaun sort of just looming over everything. But yeah, we'll see what happens. The veterans, I think, have the leg up to be the starting quarterback week one. But these rookies do have a shot to do something and sort of stick and show why they should stick around long term. Dillon Gabriel, I think it's interesting with his experience. Where does that sort of flow into wanting to get him as many reps as possible? Where does that flow into, how does it compare to the veterans, I guess, right? Like Joe has so much experience in the league. Kenny has experience, has won before, is a Super Bowl champion. And then Dillon Gabriel has a record for playing so much in college. So it's like, where does that flow into the competition? But then Shedeur will also get his chance to show the team and organization why he thought he should have been drafted much higher. So it'll be interesting, and of course something that will follow all offseason long.
What do you think the order would be right now if the organization was to rank those 4 or 5 quarterbacks of where they think they would start? I think there's a difference there between what the organization thinks right now and what I think the fans think right now.
I think if I had to guess right now, just based on people around the league, conversations I've had, I think that Kenny Pickett would probably be your day one starter. They really do believe that he could be something to the effect of what Sam Darnold did last year, and sort of turn around his career and just a change of scenery. We've seen, especially here in Cleveland, right? Like Baker goes somewhere else and he just flourishes. Like I think that they believe a change of scenery can really help him. But Joe Flacco is, of course, looming, and a lot of players look up to him. A lot of players just want to learn from him, especially in that quarterback room. So I think that's an interesting dynamic, and I think Joe is right there close. But I think Kenny, I would give, is the number one quarterback right now if I had to guess going into week one. But Dillon Gabriel is there as well. I think Shedeur is probably that last name there, being the latest pick in the draft, and then obviously with the two veterans. So I think that would sort of be the order if I had to guess right now of what they would go with. But of course, a lot of time and definitely a lot of different things can happen throughout OTAs and the training camp.
And, of course, it's really early. And that's exactly what I had put down. Pickett, Flacco, Gabriel, Sanders, Watson. That's the way I think the organization sees it. I think the fans think right now it's Flacco, then maybe Sanders at the top of that list.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to put Sanders. I don't think they will either, just because the A, draft status, B, the amount of experience that Dillon Gabriel has had in college. I think that does equate to the NFL in some capacity, and that's what teams liked about him, especially the Browns. I do know that teams varied and during the draft about where they saw Dillon Gabriel pretty vastly. Was pretty eye-opening. Hearing that some teams had him undrafted and some teams like the Browns had him as one of their top quarterbacks in the class. So I think that was interesting, but the Browns like his experience and like that he has shown that he is able to take care of the football at a high level on a consistent basis.
Noah, I don't even know how I want to ask you this. I don't think it's going to happen, but Deshaun Watson wants to play football again. I think he's been adamant and vocal about that, and some of the people that he's given those scoops to have kind of done the legwork of putting that out into the ether that Deshaun Watson wants to play football again. Could you see any way that he plays another snap for the Browns?
Is the door still open?
I personally can't see him stepping back on the field, but I think that it wouldn't be fair to close the door either, right? Like they're always, especially in Cleveland, there's always the possibility of something happening that you don't see happening. So I think that he's been, he's been attacking this rehab, right? Like he has been nonstop and wants to prove people that he can get back on the field and play at a high level. So that's like his goal. So I would never rule something out like that, especially when a player has been in the facility just about every day at this point, rehabbing, and players are with him, seeing the work he's putting in. So I think he's probably earned the respect of a lot of his teammates as well. So I would never rule anything out. But again, I think that the quarterback situation goes as I previously mentioned with Kenny, Joe, and then the 2 draft picks there to follow.
Chris, I likened it to a horror movie where, like, you know, it's a heart-inducing, panic-inducing 2-hour experience, and you finally think that you're at the end of it.
Think it's over.
Your
He's
heart
dead.
rate's finally starting to come down a little bit from the bad movie, and then it takes a 180 plot turn, and he's not dead, and the hand comes out from the tombstone, and there he is, ready to go. Is kind of what I've likened this Deshaun Watson.
I think there'd have to be 4 corpses on the field before that's even a possibility right now in Cleveland. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think for the most part. I think it also depends on how he rehabs, right? Because this is a very serious injury, and he did it twice, really. So just to see how he's progressed and how he comes with the rehab, because a lot of guys can't get through the majority of the rehab. This is a very, like I said, serious injury. So I think a lot of it depends as well on how he comes out of it, and if they can get him reps. I don't know how early they'll be able to get him reps, but if they can get him on the field and sort of see how he can move, I think is the biggest thing here. Because mobility was something huge with Deshaun, especially when they went out and traded for him. They love the fact that he can move and get out of the pocket, scramble, throw on the run, and even take off for a first down. So I think those are some really important things that the Browns and us, everyone watching, will have to monitor just to see what he's able to do.
Did it surprise you to see ownership come out and say, hey, we had a swing and a miss on Deshaun Watson?
It did. I don't think that we've ever seen, especially owners in general, I don't think we've really ever seen anything like that, especially in Cleveland. But I think it was really refreshing for Browns fans, is the sense I've gotten from talking to a lot of fans. Is it was refreshing that they finally admitted a mistake, because a lot of ownership would not admit a mistake. And for Jimmy to do that and tell everyone that, look, like, we messed up, I think that earned a lot of respect from a lot of the team. And now it feels like a sense of they're able to move on. I think that sort of gave them all a sigh of relief.
All right, last like internet rumor, I guess, if you will, especially because Chris had mentioned like the fans kind of think that it's like Flacco Sanders. Here's another thing, like for the fans, there were rumors that the Browns were trying to trade for Chris Olave. Obviously, that would be pretty exciting. Chris Olave is pretty good. Get another Buckeye in here. And Andrew Berry is a guy that is always working the phone on, especially receivers that he likes. Do you see the Browns making moves to that receiver room?
I think in some capacity it's possible. With Chris, obviously, Albert Breer reported that they did talk to the Browns, and the Saints and Browns talked about it, as well as the Steelers. So, like you said, though, I think you hit it with Andrew Berry always is into getting receivers, especially that are proven.
Yeah.
So he's always going to explore those types of avenues to see what could possibly happen. Look at the Amari Cooper trade, right? That sort of came out of nowhere. Nobody thought that would happen. So I think it's possible. But I don't know if Chris Olave is the most realistic option. I think that they talked about it. Didn't really make sense for both sides. So they'll continue to look and monitor that veteran, especially wide receiver market.
I like that.